My name is Jason. I'm going to tell you a story about transformation, a story about weakness and strength, a story about being bullied and becoming unstoppable. This is my story, and I hope it changes something in you. I want to be clear about something from the start. I'm not here to get sympathy. I'm not here to make you feel sorry for me. I'm here because I want you to understand that no matter where you are right now, no matter how broken you feel, your story isn't over. It's just beginning. I was the weakest kid in my entire school. Not metaphorically, literally. I was small, skinny, had terrible acne covering my face, and I wore clothes from the discount bin at Walmart. I wasn't athletic. I didn't play football or basketball. I spent my afternoons playing video games and watching anime while other kids were at practice. I was basically everything that would make you a target in middle school. And I was absolutely, completely targeted. It started in 6th grade. There was this kid named Derek. He was bigger than me, stronger, popular, athletic, everything I wasn't. And for some reason, he decided I would be his personal project, his personal punching bag. Not that he literally punched me every day, although there were plenty of times when it got physical, but he made it his mission to make my life miserable. He'd bump me in the hallway and I'd go flying into the lockers. He'd call me names. He'd make fun of my clothes, my face, my hobbies, the way I walked, the way I talked. He'd get right in my face and just mock me relentlessly. And here's the thing that made it worse than anything. Everyone else joined in. Once Derek started, it was like an open invitation for the entire school to treat me like garbage. I remember this one time. I was walking down the hallway between classes, and someone kicked my backpack. I turned around, and it was Derek, laughing, and everyone around him was laughing. Teachers walked by, did nothing. Administrators walked by, did nothing. It was like I was invisible to anyone who could actually help. I started taking different routes to class just to avoid the hallways where Derek hung out with his crew. I'd go out of my way, take the long route, add 5 minutes to my journey just to avoid running into him. But even that didn't work, because he'd hunt me down. He'd find ways to get at me. Lunch was the worst part of my day. Absolutely the worst. I had nowhere to sit. All the tables were claimed by different groups, and none of them wanted anything to do with me. So I started eating in the bathroom. I'd take my lunch, go into a bathroom stall, lock the door, and eat alone. I did that for years, every single day of middle school, in a bathroom stall. My mom would ask me about school. She'd say, "How was your day, honey?" And I couldn't tell her the truth. I couldn't tell her that I was eating lunch in a bathroom stall. I couldn't tell her that every single day felt like a nightmare. So I'd lie. I'd say, it was fine. Everything was fine. But everything wasn't fine. I started having thoughts that a kid should never have. I was 11, 12 years old, and I was thinking about how much better the world would be if I wasn't in it. I was thinking about how much my family would be better off without me, how my mom wouldn't have to worry about me, how nobody would have to deal with me anymore. I was planning things. I had plans. I thought about doing it. I was a child and I had a plan to end my own life. That's how bad it got. But then something happened. I was in my room one afternoon, probably around 13 years old, just scrolling through YouTube trying to distract myself from everything, and I came across this video of a bodybuilder talking about his story, talking about how he was bullied when he was young, how he was small, weak, picked on, how kids made fun of him constantly. And he said something that hit me like a truck. He said, "I decided that day that I was done being a victim. I wasn't going to let anyone else define who I was. I was going to become someone I could respect." And something clicked in me. I didn't have a plan to fight Derek. I didn't have a plan to seek revenge. I didn't have some elaborate scheme to make him pay for what he'd done. I just realized that all of this suffering, all of this pain, all of this humiliation was only happening because I believed the story that Derek and everyone else were telling about me. They said I was weak. I believed it. They said I was worthless. I believed it. They said I'd never be anything. I believed it. But what if I just stopped believing it? What if I started writing my own story? So I did. I went to my dad and asked him if we could set up a pull-up bar in our basement. We didn't have much money, so we got a cheap one from Walmart. I got some used dumbbells from a garage sale. We found free workout programs online, and I started. I remember that first day in the basement. I could barely do one pull-up. One. I could barely lift 20 pounds with the dumbbells. I was pathetic. But I didn't care because for the first time in a long time, I was doing something that was mine. Something that Derek couldn't touch. Something that nobody could mock or ruin. It was mine. And I trained every single day. Not because I was trying to impress anyone, not because I wanted to get revenge on Derek. I trained because I was angry. But I wasn't angry at Derek. I was angry at myself. I was angry that I had accepted their narrative. I was angry that I had spent years believing that I was weak, that I was worthless, that I deserved to be treated like garbage. I was angry at myself, and I channeled that anger into 3 years of consistent training. I studied nutrition. I learned what foods helped build muscle, what foods were just empty calories. I got disciplined about sleep, knowing that's when my body actually grew. I counted calories. I tracked my progress obsessively. I watched my body transform. By the time I was 14, I wasn't the skinny kid anymore. I had actual muscle. I had definition. People started noticing. Girls started noticing. The guys who used to laugh at me in the hallways started asking me questions about working out. But here's the thing. I didn't care what anyone thought, because the person I was doing this for was me. By my junior year of high school, I was genuinely jacked. I was strong. I was confident. I wasn't the same kid anymore. And then one day, I saw Derek in the hallway. For a second, he didn't recognize me. I could see him processing, trying to figure out who this person was. And when it clicked, when he realized it was me, his entire face changed. He got nervous. Actually nervous. The guy who had made my life miserable for years was suddenly intimidated by me. And you know what I did? I walked past him. I didn't say anything. I didn't stop to confront him. I didn't even acknowledge him. I just kept walking because I realized something crucial. I wasn't doing any of this for him. I had spent 3 years transforming myself, but it wasn't so that Derek would respect me. It wasn't so that he would feel scared. It was so that I could respect myself. It was so that I could look in the mirror and see someone I was proud of. And that's exactly what I saw. After that, everything changed. Not because I became stronger. Things changed because I stopped caring what other people thought. I became comfortable being myself. I got recruited to play college sports. I met people who actually valued me for who I was, girls who were interested in me for the right reasons. But none of that mattered as much as what I had done on the inside. I had taken my pain, my anger, my suffering, and I had transformed it into power. Now, years later, I run a fitness coaching business, but it's not really about fitness. It's about helping people who felt like I felt, people who were bullied, who felt weak, who had accepted the narrative that they were worthless. I help them see that they have power, that they can write their own story. And to everyone watching this, to everyone who's being bullied right now, who feels weak, who feels like they don't belong, who's being made fun of, I want you to hear this clearly. Your weakness is temporary. Your bullying is temporary. This dark chapter you're in right now is temporary, but your response to it will determine the rest of your life. That's the truth. I didn't need to fight Derek. I didn't need to confront him or humiliate him or seek revenge. What I needed was to prove something to myself, and that's what I did. And that's what you need to do too. You need to find that thing inside of you, that anger, that pain, that injustice, and you need to transform it. You need to channel it into becoming someone incredible, someone undeniable, someone so amazing that the people who tried to destroy you will realize exactly what they missed. That's real power. That's true revenge. So if you're struggling right now, if you're being bullied, if you feel weak and small and insignificant, I'm telling you right now, you're not at the end of your story. You're at the beginning, and you have the power to write the next chapter any way you want. Start today. Start small if you need to. Start in your bedroom, in your basement, anywhere, but start. Take that first step towards becoming the person you know you can be. Because I promise you, the other side of this pain is incredible. The strength you'll gain, the confidence you'll build, the respect you'll have for yourself. It's worth every single drop of sweat, every ounce of effort, every moment of doubt. Because the best revenge isn't winning a physical fight. It's not humiliating your bully. It's not proving them wrong in some dramatic confrontation. The best revenge is becoming so incredible, so undeniable, so powerful that your bullies look back and realize exactly what they missed. And you won't even care what they realize, because you'll be too busy living your incredible life.